welcome back to the Cloneforge gameplay lovers. It has been a while, but we finally found enough Magic players to play another game of Emperor. Trust me, it doesn't happen often. To switch things up, we're playing it via Big Deck. That, plus we found that bad things happen when you play Commander Emperor. Yeah, things like that. This game we rolled for teams, and we have a team of Jim, Jeff, and Josh on the left of your screen. All their names start with J, and on the right side of your screen we have Rob, Brian, and me. Everyone starts at 20 life, and as a reminder for Emperor, everyone has a spell range of 1 except for the middle players who have a spell range of 2. You know what? I know these guys have absolutely nothing to do with Magic, but just because I love the movie so much, I'll call this Team Captain and call them Team Iron Man. Team Iron Man won the die roll, which means I go first, starting with the Leyline of Sanctity in play. For the first 2 turns, we set up our mana bases, playing as many multicolor spells as possible, with both Jeff and Rob playing 3-color lands. There was a lot of discussion every turn for this game, as Emperor is a very collaborative format. Rob goes nuts on his turn 2, casting both Soul Ring and Sword of Fire and Ice. He had a very nice draw, and you haven't even seen the best card yet. Simic Signet from Brian, setting up a next turn Planeswalker. On Josh's turn, he casts Seal of Primordium to blow up my Leyline of Sanctity. Not sure what he wants to target me with. Sadly, Rob has nothing to do on his next turn, and no one else until Brian casts Kiora, the Crashing Wave. He uses it to draw a card and play an additional land for the turn. Getting a Planeswalker's Emperor is kind of unfair. I think Emperor was invented before there were Planeswalkers. With his second land drop, Brian casts Ponder, setting up his and my next draw, but the cards he reveals aren't very good, so Brian just shuffles them away and draws a blind card. I play a Planeswalker of my own on my turn, Jace, Architect of Return to Ravnica, and uses it to minus Too Many Fact or Fiction. I put the 2-card pile in my hand. Josh plays a Papa Whiskey of his own with Johnny Steadfast, and pluses it with no targets. The Planeswalker train continues with Team Iron Man's Emperor casting Chandra, the Firebrand, using it to ping Jace. Jim deliberates, confers with his team, and casts Obstinate Baloth to gain 4 life. Since Rob wants to cast a spell on his next turn that will deal him a bunch of damage, we decide that Rob should shoot Baloth with Soultide Charm, which he does to destroy the monocolored creature. On Rob's turn, Rob casts Yawgmoth's Bargain, which, you know what? I'm going to combo break that card with itself just because it's so powerful. There we go. Rob starts by paying 4 life to draw 4 cards. Over the next turn, Brian, Jeff, Josh, and I all up our Planeswalkers. I lose 2 life from Read the Bones, and Josh casts Clone Shell, exiling a creature under it. On his next turn, Rob goes to cast Muldrifter when Jim mana leaks it, which Brian arcane denials. Brian is an Emperor who has your back. Rob draws 2 cards when the Muldrifter enters and equips the Elemental with his Sword of Fire and Ice. Brian and Jim both draw 2 cards at the beginning of Brian's turn. Brian draws again with Kiora and plays a second land. Brian then casts Armada Worm and gets a second worm. Then on my turn, I cast an Armada Worm of my own with Dax Duplicate, clone count 1, and get a Worm token. My worm has haste and dethrone, but it doesn't trigger since I am attacking a Planeswalker. Johnny goes to 1 loyalty. Kind of weird Josh didn't block with a creature, but you'll see why. Josh has a sweet play on his turn. He first asks the Emperor to unsummon my worm token. He then casts Kiki Jiki, the Mirror Breaker, with Clone Shell. He then Keyges the Clone Shell, clone count 2, pluses a Johnny to his Clone Shell, and attacks Jace with just enough power to kill it. Josh gains 2 life from the Johnny lifelink. At the end step, the Clone Shell copy dies to reveal Hypersonic Dragon. Jeff shoots Rob's Muldrifter with Eye Blight's ending. Then puts me to 17. Vythian Renegades from Jim, who blow up Rob's sword, and Rob pays 3 life to draw 3 cards. Rob pays another 2 life on his turn, casting Vampiric Tutor to get a life gain card for himself and Worldly Tutor to find a creature for me. I choose Maelstrom Wanderer, 1 in 5 chance. Rob pays a life to draw the card he got with a Vampiric Tutor, going to 10. On his turn, Brian begrudgingly lands Sepulchral Primordial so that he can cast an even better card at the moment in Garrick's Wake, locking the game for us pretty hard. Josh's Clone Shell flips to reveal Siege Dragon. Not bad, but Brian does neuter it with his Kiora. Brian then gives me his creatures so that they can attack Josh next turn. On my turn, I attempt to cast Crime from Crime Punishment to take Josh's Kiki-Jiki from his graveyard so I can Keege my Armada Worm and deal so much damage to Josh this turn, but Josh concedes in response. Josh is not a fan of Emperor. I then attack Jess Chandra for 10 with my creatures, since Josh is now gone from the game. It's downhill from here. Team Iron Man still has some fight in them, with Jeff casting Ether Mage's Touch to put Sagu Mauler, one of the creatures he revealed, into play. The Mauler blocks, killing my non-token worm. Chandra goes to 1 loyalty. Jeff then plays another Planeswalker on his turn, Braska the Unseen, and uses it to shoot Brian's Kiora since the Emperors can now see each other since Josh is dead. Jeff then attacks me for 6 with the Sagu Mauler since it goes back to his hand in the turn anyway from the Ether Mage's Touch effect. Also, Chandra shoots Rob for 1. Rob continues to draw cards with Yawgmoth's Bargain, takes an extra turn with Temporal Trespass, gains 15 life with Righteous Confluence so that he can keep drawing all the cards with the Bargain. At this point, there's nothing really Team Iron Man can do to come back from this, especially when I cast Maelstrom Wanderer, cascading into Moloku and the Abyss. They eventually concede, having no out to our ridiculous board, which is typically what happens in Emperor. One team gets ahead and the other team can't come back from it. Josh conceding stopped me from getting Kiki or Armada Worm combo, but I think he conceded less for strategy and more because he was just annoyed. Jim revealed that he had Yawgmoth's Will in hand, but it wasn't doing anything for him so early in the game. It was Rob's Yawgmoth's Bargain and probably Brian's in Garrick's Wake that sealed the game in our favor. Both our Emperors getting unkillable Planeswalkers is always nice. Well, that's it for now. Let us know if there was anything we missed. We hope you enjoyed this game of Emperor, and if you want to see more games of Emperor for some reason, you can check them out here. Right here. These links on screen before you. Just stick away. Alright guys, take care.